ban Chieftain or you ban Centurion.
That's definitely interesting to ban like that. I wonder how many players will do that.
So
uh,
do you think that Lightning should be trying to go for a second Animus sometime soon here? Or do you think he can just win this by going with Tarsiers, Immolites, and like Cauterizer maybe next turn without really relying on Emperilla for like the big damage?
um, I think that he could go for an Amperilla this game, and I would make the game pretty interesting. I'm not sure if he's gonna do it though.
Oh my. Do you really think the Kinetics driver is better than double Immolite? It seems.
So we talked about it earlier, and I think kinetic driver is um, to make sure Sven can't get out an Amperilla.
But it feels like you can stop the Emperilla by. Well, okay, now it's definitely going to be useful here, but it seems like the player with Ep Turbine actually has the better chance of getting Emperilla out because of course, the extra uh, econ. But then Sven does have what 17 drones if I'm reading this correctly, which which actually is a lot of econ
It
even without
is.
the Ep Turbine.
Yeah, Sven's definitely ahead on econ.
Hmm.
So
Though I do think that if you are to get Emperilla, it has to be in the next few turns. I think the longer the game drags out, the less chance you have of ever getting an Emperilla. So
yeah, do you think that these players should get an animus, this turn's for Sven or even last turn for Lightning? Get the second
I think
animus?
last turn might have been a good turn for Lightning. Yeah, it didn't seem like Sven could pop up any like massive amounts of damage to stop Lightning from getting it. Um, but then getting a second Animus and not being able to use it can be very scary. There are Immolites that kind of help that, and there's even Cauterizer that also kind of helps that, since it's only 11 gold for 2 red and a blue. Uh, but again, it seems like both players, if they had maybe 2, 3 more drones, they'd be much more comfortable here with getting Emperor out or getting a second Animus, I should say. Uh, I'm surprised neither player went for Zaytron actually. Maybe it's not out of the plans yet for Sven, seeing as he's storing green up. He has 3 next turn actually. Only needs to store 2 more.
Yeah, Zatron's interesting. I don't see it having any synergy at all with Amperilla. It's kind of like if your opponent seems to be going for an Amperilla, then maybe you go for Zatron, and hopefully you can get out that 7 Gauss charge burst
Yeah.
before they can get out the Amperilla.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't played too much with Zatron, so I'm not sure how quickly you can actually get out those 7 Gauss
If
charges.
if you buy it and you don't block on it, or if you only block, yeah, if you don't block on it, you can use it exactly the turn right after. So it doesn't take that long. You just have to buy it, and then you can already click it, which is what 2 turns for the damage to come in.
Yeah, so it's like having a build time of 2, sort of, if you want to use it for damage like that.
Hmm.
But you have to store up 5 green first, which could take a
Yeah.
while. So Lightning's actually getting 2 more Tarsers, so if he ever gets out an Amperilla, that Amperilla is going to be huge.
Hmm.
Sven has 5 Tarsiers, just either one, whichever one of them gets an Amperilla, if either of them do, is gonna,
Is going to be in a really good spot.
yeah, they're just gonna be
Uh,
crushing.
I I think this cauterizer here from Sven makes a lot of sense, and he's saving a lot of like he's saving a Rhino charge by not clicking it, of course, killing a wall with 6 or 5 damage. Um, it like this cauterizer, I really like it because it gives you a lot of defense and not just damage, it gives you a lot of defense as well, which might make the Emperilla buy an actual possibility. Lightning seems to have just given up on the idea of ever getting Emperilla and just seems to be building Tarsiers for damage though.
Yeah, it seems that way. The other thing I like about Cauterizer is it gives him some granularity, which he has been struggling with, and Lightning has a Thermite core to exploit granularity whenever
Yeah,
he has the option to do that. So
exactly.
Sven actually going for a Connect Driver as well, just in case of that second Animus.
I
I think.
Personally, I actually think the kinetic driver here is going to be sniping Blast Forge, because without Blast Forge, Lightning is going to struggle with prompt defense. Maybe other than Feral Warden, there's no good prompt defense outside of blue. So that snipe on the Blast Forge, considering that Lightning is also only on 11 drones, could be could be quite a factor here in giving Sven a big advantage in econ.
Yeah, I wasn't really considering a snipe on a Blast Forge since there is Feral Warden, and he looks like he's going to have 2 green at each turn, so he should be able to defend even against a Blast Forge snipe. Um,
How so instead of actually getting Tarsier here, how would you like just getting double Immolite? Using both red rather than just one red for Sven. That seems like a very strong and tempo play versus a player that is already struggling with econ, honestly.
um, in general, I do like getting double Emlight instead of a single Tarsier to use both red. Although in this particular case, I believe he needed those 2 engineers so that his cauterizer could keep firing.
I don't.
Ooh.
Yes, it looks like that is the case. Hmm.
He could have perhaps force fielded though.
Yes, maybe wall force field would have been okay as well, even if you want Doom wall for the defense. Those Rhino husks will help Sven on defense here, though. Maybe even allowing him to get a second cauterizer. Maybe allowing him to buy an Animus. But it really looks like neither player is actually going to build in Emperilla this game. It's getting so late in the game that getting one would completely cripple everything you've built up.
I mean, yes, it's you're not going to be able to use that second animus for long, but that Amperilla is dealing 6 or 7 damage. It's pretty insane value if you can actually get it out.
Yeah.
So
I think a fear is also the kinetic driver. It just stays there and it prevents the Emperilla from being built.
yeah.
Hmm. So who would you say is ahead? I think it's really hard to say here, but for me, I think Sven might be slightly ahead because of the cauterizer defense that will come into effect, because of the higher actual econ without. Oh,
Wow.
oh,
Oh, he's going for
yeah.
Zatron. That's pretty cool.
I
Well,
I like this. I really like this.
this.
If there's a way he can, it looks like Doomwall is dying though, so I think he's not going to. I think he's would be blocking on Zatron, which I think is not what you want to do with it with the unit. So I
Yeah.
don't think we'll actually see it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very good right here. He does have 5 green though, so if he can ever afford to do that, then
Hmm.
that'll be pretty cool.
Sven almost running out of time.
Yeah, both players have run through their time bank pretty much.
Hmm. Only 45 seconds per turn now, basically. I think next turn might be the turn that Sven gets it though, because Lightning will have 3 less damage than this turn since Rhino doesn't fire and Immolites don't fire.
That's a good point. I think you're right. I think Sven can afford to get that Zatron, and so he's going to try to absorb on the Doomed Wall while getting that Zatron, correct?
I think that's the best way to do it because if you can get 7 damage in 2 turns, that's going to be an insane. Just that 7 damage swing, and then even blocking after that on Zeitron, having like an energy matrix, that's already a big enough swing that you probably just win the game. At this point, Lightning only has 12 gold per turn. He only has 7 drones left, and most of his defense has to come from force fields you if you're able to trigger Zeitron. Which is why I would actually rather prefer him maybe even lose Rhino here, or maybe lose 2 drones rather than buy an engineer.
Yeah, it's definitely a big sacrifice for Sven to get this Zatron out. He'll probably have to uh, hold his Cauterizer back the turn after.
I think that sacrifice is worth it though. To me, I think that would be a worthy swing because it gives you so much. Though there's also the chance that he wants to go for it next turn when Rhino and Cauterizer are back on defense. It's always a chance he even has a force field next turn with it. So there's always going to be a chance that he's going to be able to get it. And especially if Kinetic Driver snipes, say, a Blast Forge. Though it doesn't look like Lightning actually has the goal to use it.
Yeah, this Kinetic Driver actually just going to time out without sniping anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one less damage, so maybe Sven will be able to get Zatron? No, it doesn't look like it.
It
Okay.
seems like that's another unit that both players have just given up on, just like Emperor.
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing. I wanted to see some big crazy units come out this game, but
Yeah, I guess the safer play is to not go for it and just stick to what you're doing if you think it's working. Uh, I I personally really don't like this Tarsier by Sven. I don't think the game's going to continue long enough for that Tarsier to actually be as efficient as an Immolite here. Because an Immolite's efficiency, I mean, a Tarsier takes, I think, 4 turns to be more efficient than Immolite. So, and I don't think the game's going to be even for 4 more turns.
yeah, I agree that Imlight is better than Tarsier there. I think depending on how you do the compound interest, it could take even more than 4 turns
Yes.
for Imlight to for Tarsier to catch up to the efficiency of Immolite.
Now you can even kind of exactly calculate how much damage, how much defense Lightning can even buy. So at this point, maybe going wall instead of like engineer and whatnot, you get another Immolite just for 1 extra damage, and maybe it pushes your opponent over. As you can see, like this, he can only block for exactly 12. So, well, steals, but it could be held back. But
Yeah, true. But either way, Sven seems to be too far ahead at this point.
mhm. The
And
game went on what 15 turns, so I think the added like the strain Ebb Turbine produced was just too much. If the game had deviated and would have gone into like an Emporilla slugfest earlier in the game, I think the Ebb Turbine would have been amazing. But as it turns out, the game went on for so long that just the higher econ was correct.
uh, yeah, I think so. I think with that Ebb Turbine, he should have tried to get out in Amberilla.
Mhm.
So was that 2-0?
That was 2-0 for Sven. So let's check the brackets right now since I know a few sets have actually ended. One, two, three, four, five, 6 sets have now ended. Only 3 are left. Without any scores though. Maybe we can check on our Kanishu.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just jumped into Arkanishu's game right here. This looks like it will be ending shortly. No one has any drones.